In the land of confusion, freedom is an illusion. What more could we say that hasn't been said? What more can we teach that hasn't been taught? What more can we learn that hasn't been figured out? Who among us is willing to look at ourselves and say, this doesn't make sense? None of it, right? Who among us is willing to take a look around and see that we are nothing but slaves? Take a walk with Whiskey and I, and let's talk about this. Train, take me on out of this place. How's it going? Hopefully you're doing all right. Pretty nice day today, actually. 52 degrees right now. I'm sure it's not gonna stay very long, but let's try something different today. Let's try to do a video without getting overheated and getting upset, cussing and all that, right? I doubt it, but we'll try. Before I go any further, it's been a while since I've done any shout outs, and I prefer to do shout outs. I try to remember to do them in the video, but whatever. But I like to do shout outs to people who are supportive of me, or you know, they don't necessarily have to be if they got good content, right? But I just want to be clear, anyone I shout out, any channels I shout out, they do not necessarily follow my same beliefs or agree with the things I say, and their channels many times are quite different than mine. So I mean, I don't want nobody to judge them based on that, but if I shout somebody out, I would appreciate you check out their channels and show them your support. I've done it quite a bit, but it's been a while. And yesterday I was watching a video, last night I should say, from Sterling Wheel, and of course I'll leave the link up there. By all means, check out his channel. He runs a good channel. Does a lot of stuff with trucking, but does much more stuff. And I appreciate his videos. He talks a lot of good sense, his own self, and just trying to give us some good content. And he's got a lot of, just check out his videos, a lot of good scenery and stuff. And but anyways, I just want to shout him out today, because I don't believe I've shouted his channel out yet. And I know sometimes there's channels I shout out more than once. It just goes away, it goes out, whatever, it pops up. I don't mean to leave anyone out at all. Eventually, I may end up shouting out your channel, right? Especially the ones I stay in communities with, in the chats and all that. Anyways, check out his channel. And if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. And sometimes I shout out more than one channel. I'm gonna try to do that a little less, unless it's having to do with the subjects we're talking about. only because that's how it keeps me confused, and I end up shouting out the same channels and skipping over other ones, and I don't want to do that. Anyone I'm in the communities with, I want to help show the support just like they do for me, you know. So by all means, we all grow stronger that way, and we all got our own views, and that's what makes it good over there in these communities I'm with. Good people expressing their views, sharing their thoughts, and nobody fighting with each other, right? Yeah, you believe that, and oh, I can see where you're coming from, or well, I disagree with that, but it's real good stuff, right? Okay, I should correct that. Today we will do 2 channel shoutouts, because also Sick Bastard, I want to shout out his channel. I believe I have before, but only reason I'm doing that is because a lot of times I'm on here and I'm saying, oh, these sick bastards and all that, and I just want to be clear that I am not in any means, when I use that term, trying to compare those evil, sick, disgusting people with Sick Bastards channel, right? Anyway, let's get on with it today, huh? Nothing too important, I suppose. We're just going to talk about a little bit about this unfree world during these times of confusion. And we're going to find that sometimes you have to do what's best for you and not everyone else. I can hear amens out there, but let's be clear. As righteous as that might sound, the ones around you will not accept it. And, you know, it sounds good enough, but those around you are not going to accept it, and you're just going to have to accept that. At the end of the day, you have to choose what's best for you, right? Such as I. Stinks over here. Yeah, I mean, you just saw the sign, right? Somehow I don't know, right here on both sides of the river, both rivers right over here, right in the middle of town, is where all the sewage dumps right into the river. We're walking today through Pontiac Park here in Defiance, and you know, like I said, I shouted out Sterling's channel, and one reason that brought that to mind is, or what brought today's video to mind is, I was watching, like I said, his video last night. I believe it's called Green River. Check it out. And he was visiting, I think it's his hometown or something like that, or a place he grew up or knew as a kid, whatever. Don't want to speak for him. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Green River, Utah. Real nice looking scenery and stuff like that. But one of his things is, and he showed how certain things are changed and all that, or spoke how it is. And he said, now it sucks, or something like that, he said. And I hear you, bro, but same thing here in Defiance. Of course, I grew up in Napoleon, but still, this area, it's only like 20 miles from here. So this whole area, I grew up. Somebody left their crack pipe lighters laying there. But, okay, so we're here in Defiance, Ohio. We're walking through, on that, this is what we're going to get to. How things have changed here in Defiance, how it sucks. Over here in my area, Northwest Ohio, where we're walking through is Pontiac Park. All this area right here, Fort Defiance, all this got its name because when the settlers got over here and found out that nobody was here, just a bunch of savages, which obviously must not count as people. And that's how these areas got their name, after all this Indian stuff, right? Pontiac Park was Chief Pontiac from whatever Indian tribe. And all around here we got these names derived from the Indians who were here abundantly, but we were told it's our land to settle. We found barren land, right? Anyway, I've mentioned this in a video maybe 2 years ago now, I don't know, right? But I mentioned it before, and I want to point this out because right here where we're at, it's a bunch of pine trees or whatever, right? And these other trees, but a lot of people don't realize, I'm gonna say like people my son's age, pushing close to 30, right, is they wouldn't even know what it was like here before and what made it great, right? I'm gonna show you this, give you a little bit of an idea. Check this out. This is commemorating, I don't know, French Indian friendship over here around the time of the French Indian War. And this is largest on record apple tree. 9 foot in diameter, 60 foot spread, 45 foot high. And it was here, they claim, from 1670 to 1887, right? If you look here, this is the stump. Well, it's not the actual stump, right? But, you know, they put that there to commemorate it, right? To mark it. What I want to say, here's the thing. When I was a kid growing up here, growing up in Napoleon, and my dad's relatives were over here in Defiance. He'd bring us to Defiance quite a bit. And we'd go fishing over here, different stuff like that. Right where I'm walking through, well, not right behind me where I'm walking through, where we first come off from the bridge, used to be several buildings and businesses right there. And my dad had a garage right there. Well, that was all tore down, and they made it parkland. See, these plans that are going on, have been going on for a long time. And the thing is, when we would come here, that I was growing up, that stump I just showed you was the actual stump. It wasn't that big stone that they cut out and put there. Whatever got them to cut out that stump, whatever. It was the actual stump of that apple tree, right? Now, furthermore, it's not like that was only sign of an apple tree over here, right? This whole park that I'm walking through was filled with apple trees. From here to Napoleon, you know, all through Northwest Ohio, over to Paulding, all these areas I remember as a kid all had an abundance of apple trees. And walnut trees. You can still find just a few walnut trees around here because they haven't taken them out yet, whatever, but not like it used to be. Certainly not like it used to be. Pear trees, cherry trees, all these different things, right? We didn't have oranges over here. You know, I don't think they grow here or whatever, climate or whatever. But otherwise, we had all kinds of fruit and nuts trees, right? Sources all through here. Where are they? What happened to them? What is the deal there? Is there a bigger story than that behind it? Because, like I mentioned this before in a video, also, if you're not too far out of town here, maybe about 5 miles, and then there's another place about 30 miles over near the Michigan border, and there was these places, maybe you've seen them before in your areas, right? It's not like it was only prone to Ohio, but there was, you used to be able to pull off on the side of the road, natural springs, right? And you'd get yourself some natural spring or TGM Wells water, free water right out of that. Get yourself a good drink of water. Anyway, I'll try not to make this too long. Well, I'm trying out 4K on here, and that eats up the battery and storage space quite quick. So let's stay on subject here. I just want to consider that, especially anyone, it don't appear I got very young people watching, right? But either you're my age or older and you remember these things, of course, right? Hopefully. And or you're younger and you don't even know about these things, right? You don't think about it and it don't even come to mind. You don't realize that people don't realize that God provided for us freely. You know, my ancestors that were over here, the savages that apparently didn't live here before, even though they were here before the assholes full of corruption that took over, right? But they lived freely. You didn't see them waking up at 6 in the morning, going to put in a 12-hour shift all week long just to scrape by to eat an apple pie or a bowl of nuts. And you consider it, right? Hopefully this will make sense in a minute. How much is nuts? Have you bought nuts lately, right? Any kind of nuts. Peanuts, especially macadamia nuts. You ever priced any of those? And sometimes they make it where it's hard to get. For some reason, boom, well, there's a shortage of nuts or this and that, and so the price went up, and good luck if you can find them. Apples, oranges. Now, like I said, oranges weren't here, but you know, in some areas they were. It's not like these things are made in a factory, right? Your fruits and vegetables and all these things, right? People garden, they grow their own stuff. Of course, we know that, right? But it's not like any of this stuff was, this ain't like a man didn't come along and say, let me invent an apple tree. It just was, right? Let me invent a pear tree. It just was. God made it. And it was here, and it was in abundance. Now I talk about the water, the spring waters, right? We had around here within, you know, I don't know, but I know we've had several sources around here. I remember as a kid, we'd be riding along somewhere, Dad pull off on the side of the road, grab a jug, fill it up with water. He'd tell us, hey kids, get yourself a cup of that water. That's some good water there, right? Not the city water, even back then, right? But you'd pull off, it's automatically, it was just there, a natural spring. Or TGM well, right? These sources. And it was freely available. Oh, you're thirsty? Well, God granted you some clean water to drink. Here in America, right? Here in Northwest Ohio. Michigan area, right? All this through here. Indiana, you know, I'm in the corner. Where I'm at is Northwest Ohio. Defiance is like right near the corner of would be northeast Indiana and southeast Michigan. But, you know, so anyone from these areas, from those areas that are my age or older would definitely know what I'm talking about. And now it's all gone, right? I walk through here, I can walk for miles and not find one pear tree, one apple tree, That I can't think of all of them, but these things were, I remember being a kid where I grew up in Napoleon. We'd be out playing and, I'd grab something off the tree all the time and eat it. Have a bite of an apple, eat a pear. I used to love pears. There were all everywhere. People I knew had these pear trees in their yard. What happened? Well, we got to make these parks beautiful. One thing, right? And maybe it's not so pleasant for all these life-giving bees that are attracted to those things. And then we wonder why the bees are dying off. It's not just because of the chemicals we're spraying on all the crops, which is a big deal about that, right? But it's also they got nothing else. Apple trees are a great source of livelihood for bees. You might not like it, but no one said you had to live right here in the park, right? Your property don't have to have them. Just consider that. How stupid and ignorant is our world become? Well, because they're enslaving us and we don't see that. You can't live free. Freedom's an illusion. As I said, in the land of confusion, freedom is an illusion. And America has become the land of confusion. Clearly, the land of confusion. I had people recently fighting with me and arguing with me about, I've said it in my couple of videos, right? Getting on the religious topic, and they want to fight against God, right? But they'll tell me, they act like they try to make you feel bad about it, right? Christians have some backbone, I'm telling you that. And you don't necessarily have to call yourself a Christian. People of God get some backbone. Because what we have, these people are like, I got attacked and enforced by these atheists. It was one conversation. Somebody posted something. I responded to it. Their response introduced a question. So I respectfully and honestly and honorably answered that question. They didn't like the answer, so they spewed back at me, right? And from there, 3 of their friends jump in and start whatever, like they're proving anything, and none of them proved anything. In fact, the post ended up deleted before I could even screenshot any of this stuff. And I had paragraphs of valuable information shared with these people. And they, you know what? They said, well, you're an asshole. What does that say about you? That just proves how you Christians are. You think that just because somebody don't believe the way you do, and that they are wrong and you're right. And I said, no, it's not like that. You are the one that introduced the question. I, out of caring for my fellow humans, said, whoa, you're wrong. Let me set you on track here. Honorably and respectfully. Well, you didn't want to see it. So it's you, right? Because even the exact words were, I read the first the first one sentence, and after that I quit reading. Right? Because you didn't want to hear it. It's you who are being objective. Right? It's you who didn't like what you have to hear. It's you who thinks you're right and everyone should agree with you. Because if not, you're going to delete them and you're going to throw a big fit and all this stuff, right? It's you who needs to put yourself in check if you're that person, right? Or like it. And sometimes they'll say things to try to get you to trip up and question your own self. Oh yeah, I guess I'm not being right. And now we got Christians feeling bad all the time. Well, I guess I better not talk about that subject, or I better not say how I truly feel about that, because I might offend somebody. And these assholes can go around offending you all day long, right? We live in a land now that's full, like I said, confusion. Men as women, right? Men marrying men, men wearing makeup, women acting like men, abortions, all these things. They jump up because they know Trump's something to do with Epstein, right? And I'm not going to deny that. There's the difference between me. I stand on truth. Yeah, I'll admit Trump's in on it, Bondi's in on it. At the very least, they're protecting these people, right? But you won't. All you're concerned about is Trump only, not the whole big deal, right? You are steered by the devil and politics and blinded. And that's your choice. Not you, the whoever. I mean, maybe you're watching, maybe whatever. And it's these kind of people along the way that have gone with their ignorance and made the policies that are affecting all of us and enslaving all of us. Right? How much cheaper could you live if you went ahead and went grocery shopping, and on your way back home, you stopped into the park and grabbed a handful of apples and pears and nuts? That's stuff you wouldn't have had to bought in the store. We're not having that, right? The rich ain't having that. So they buy up the companies that in the lands specified to grow that stuff now, right? No, it grows here now, and we're in charge of it because we took away all this natural stuff from you that was here, right? They didn't own it. Just like this park, they don't own that park. We own the park. We, the people, right? But somewhere we didn't vote to get rid of all this life-giving stuff, right? Food for our souls. Water, clean source of water for free. We didn't vote to get rid of that. Do you remember voting to get rid of that? No. Somewhere along the lines, the corporations and rich people come in and started getting the cities and towns and, all over the place. Get rid of your apple trees. Get rid of your pear trees. Get rid of your food-bearing trees. And now every source that gives you free water, you're going to, I don't know where it is where you're at. I don't know how big Culligan is or whatever, but here is an example. Here in Northwest Ohio, we know of Culligan, right? And it's water source. And there's a couple others, right? But the thing is, these Culligan companies now went ahead and somehow had the rights to buy up this land that was public, and they put this little tiny shack, little building there, just big enough to walk up there with a jug, and you have to pay to get water now. They make the money for you to get water that was freely given to you by God. Are we understanding this? Okay, I'm not lying to you. And I make it my policy not to spread lies, not to use fakeness. And we'll get to that in a minute, right? But this is no lie. If you know anyone my age or older, they will tell you, yes, I remember that. Yes, I mean, I could have walked not very far any direction and found an apple tree or a pear tree, walnut trees, not just, these are just examples I'm giving, but these specific ones were in abundance around here, without a doubt. And now they're gone. And now if I want an apple, I got to go somewhere and buy it at whatever price they set. And it has most likely been grown with pesticides that I don't want nothing to do with. And we don't understand this. And it's a problem. It's a real problem that should have been addressed a long time ago, right? They've had people blinded and too worried about whatever issues they want to throw in our face to keep us arguing about these issues and that issues. Meanwhile, while that's going on, nobody noticed, oh, there's one less apple tree in this park. Next year, oh, what? How long did it take till there's no apple trees? And they have planted trees through here. Now, over there at the park we usually at, over Kingsbury Park, was abundance of, there was some apple trees, stuff like that over there, too, pear trees. But mostly, the majority of the trees in that park was walnut trees. There's maybe one over there now. And when they get rid of it, it's done, right? But they've planted other trees. None of these trees are giving any food that they planted. None of the trees they planted are giving any food. And we don't want to see that. That's just one way they've enslaved us. How much cheaper could you live if you could get some of those needs easily, as God intended? How good is God? Well, consider that. He made this land with all that stuff so you could have it for free. Now, the devil come in and took over the world. And you're going to pay for it. And this is how you are enslaved. If it gets bad enough, you'll do whatever we tell you to get it. And it's only getting worse from here. Do we understand this? Right? It's just ridiculous. And then I got people hounding me about issues I've already talked about, right? But that's why I say sometimes you got to do what's best for you and not everyone else. Not everyone's going to understand your path. And where I'm standing, it's rough. Right? And I'm not here to tell you how rough it is for me, but when you want to take a testament of my faith, all these people that tried to trip me up here recently, atheists and everything else, right? Their lives are going good. Like the one person I would like to reach out and slap her. You've got several children that are all healthy and happy. You should wake up every morning seeing the blessing that God gave you just in that. Right? And you don't got the worries like I got. You don't wake up and thank God for those blessings. You have no faith. And you laugh at people with faith. Right? Me, it's harder for me right here than most people I know, and they don't even understand it, right? It is what it is. But I hold on and cling to that faith. Like God's going to fix it and help me or whatever, right? And that's just the way it is. And the thing is, that's what faith is, right? And it bothers me to see people don't care about our fellow humans. I mean, that's relevant in the way they took all this stuff down. I don't care if you call it government or whatever else. They're still people. They're still humans. If you gave a shit about your fellow man, you wouldn't be cutting down all the sources for food because you got to control it or whatever. Right? And we look the other way of all the evils that's going on. And yeah, there's some real sick stuff going on. But let's back up and see where all this stuff started. That's one evil that was never addressed. Enslaving people, right? If you don't think we're in a time of slave right now, you of all your time, and it's your time that they want to act like isn't valuable, right? But any rich person that owns the places you work for, their time is money. You won't talk to them without them making some money, right? Because that's who they are. They say, my time's valuable, my time's money. Yours ain't. Right? Oh, we'll pay you for your time, minimum wage, or barely above that, right? For you to give the majority of your time to us, right? How much time do you really have to yourself? That is your time to do whatever you want, whatever you choose. They own your time. They've taken control of everything. It's pretty sickening. Not just that. I mentioned in 2 videos recently, I think, if they've been uploaded, about the littering and the trash all over the place. These parks have plenty of trash cans, right? Within close enough distance, so many feet apart, right? But yet, no matter where you look, there's trash everywhere. It's just ridiculous, right? And right in town, you find broken glass all over the sidewalks. Ridiculous. But, you know, our city government and county government has more important shit to worry about, like ruining innocent lives, than to be patrolling and finding the real shit going on, right? Well, that's because they're also involved in their crimes. And then people just don't think anymore. There's no common sense. There's a lack of common sense. There truly is a lack of common sense these days. It's almost non-existent. Honestly, right? Just like the one video I showed. I'm walking my dog down the public sidewalk. Man's walking up to his house, sees me and my dog coming. opens his door and lets his 2 dogs out without a leash or anything else. I'm like, well, you're just asking for trouble. What a stupid, inconsiderate asshole, right? This is how it is. This is the world we're living in anymore. And, I don't know. What do you think? Otherwise, I want to shout out to our newer subscribers. We appreciate it very much. And to our subscribers that, I've recently got the channels combined. That way the way it should be. So some people are finding me just because of the music. And with that, I'll say, I got people judging me on my choices and everything else. Let's be clear. I'm working very hard and doing things to earn money, right? Not asking people to give me money. I got stuff you could do to support that of work I do, right? Like liking and sharing my videos and subscribing helps a great deal. Now my music, right now I only got purchases available on downloads. We're looking into getting actual CDs made. I got some homemade CDs. That's about it for now. And a lot of this stuff I'm going through, and sometimes I get on the videos and bitch about, where it gets me wound up because everything's so ridiculous and seems so hard to make it better. I don't, by all means, any of my friends that know me personally, that I know watch and support my videos, I don't want you guys taking that stuff personal, like I'm directed towards my personal people, right? The stuff I'm talking about or get upset about is from fake so-called friends that think you got to do what they want, right? That you're not right unless you're living life the way they want. It had nothing to do with my personal friends that I know mean well and want the best for me. And on that note, I give a shout out. I have 2 really good friends on a personal level off these videos, Tater and Steve. And I appreciate you guys very much. I shout out these channels and stuff a lot. I want to shout you guys out, everyone deserves the recognition. I don't want anyone to think that their friendship or thoughtfulness goes unrecognized. Anyways, let us know what you think. Share your thoughts with us. Or just say hello to Whiskey. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Whiskey and I appreciate it very much. Let us hear from you. No matter. Fear God and keep all of His commandments. That is the duty of man. For God will bring everyone to judgment. And hear my secret thing, whether it be good, whether it be evil. See ya.